I apologize, but I do not have any reservations under that name. I observed my daughter in law's expression shift from smug confidence to confusion in a matter of seconds as I stood across the hotel lobby. She attempted to charm the desk clerk with her perfect smile, the one she uses when she believes she is dealing with someone of lesser status. That's impossible. Please check again. Our booking confirmation is right here on my phone, she insisted. The clerk typed on the keyboard and replied, I see it was here, ma'am, but it shows it was canceled about 40 minutes ago. My name is Margaret, and before I recount what happened next, I would like to extend greetings to all of you wonderful viewers. Please leave a comment and share where you are watching from. I enjoy discovering the various places you all call home. What I am about to share is entirely true, every word of it. It concerns the day I ceased being the convenient, quiet mother-in-law who was expected to smile and pay for everything without asking questions. Let me take you back 6 months prior to that hotel lobby incident, as it is essential to understand the context. My son James married Ashley 3 years ago, and I was genuinely pleased for him. She was ambitious, polished, and well educated. Everything appeared perfect on paper. For the first year, our relationship was cordial. We weren't best friends, but we maintained a friendly rapport. I respected their space, and we enjoyed pleasant holiday dinners together. However, as the second year progressed, something changed. Ashley received a promotion at her tech company and suddenly positioned herself as an authority on everything: travel, food, culture, parenting techniques for children they did not yet have, politics, health, anything you can name. She began to treat me as if I were a quaint but outdated relic needing gentle guidance on modern life. Initially, her condescension was subtle, manifesting as minor corrections during our conversations. Actually, Margaret, studies show that isn't accurate anymore, she would say, or when I mentioned something I had read, she would pull out her phone to fact check me in the middle of dinner. James would occasionally give her a disapproving look, but he never intervened. I suspect he found himself in the difficult position of loving his mother while wishing to avoid conflict with his wife, so I remained silent. What other choice did I have? Risk losing access to my son over some patronizing remarks, but the situation escalated. Last December, they joined us for Christmas dinner, and I had spent 2 days preparing all of James's favorite dishes, recipes I had been making for 30 years, ones he had grown up loving. After taking one bite of my green bean casserole, Ashley remarked, "Oh, Margaret, this is so sweet. It's like nostalgic comfort food. James and I have been eating much cleaner lately, more whole foods, fewer processed ingredients. But this is cute, very retro." She then proceeded to tell me about a meal prep service they had started using, boasting about its chef's classical French training and focus on fresh California ingredients. You'd probably find it too adventurous, but James has really developed his palate. I smiled and passed the rolls. James appeared uncomfortable, but took a second helping of my retro green bean casserole without saying a word. Then came Valentine's weekend. I called James to see if they would like to meet for brunch. Just a casual outing on me. Ashley answered the phone. "Oh, Margaret, that's so thoughtful. But we're actually going to this amazing new farm-to-table place that just got written up in the Times. It's really elevated brunch, not just regular diner food. Perhaps another time." She delivered her message sweetly, but the implication was clear. The venues I chose were no longer sophisticated enough for them. The most disheartening moment came in February, when I mentioned I was considering a cruise to Alaska, as I had always wanted to see the glaciers. Ashley laughed. Not cruelly, but with that indulgent tone one might use for a child making a naive comment. "Oh, Margaret, cruises are such tourist traps. You're essentially in a floating mall. If you want to experience Alaska, you should opt for a small group expedition with a naturalist guide. Immersive travel, not buffet lines and shuffleboard." She then pulled out her phone to show me pictures from a trip she and James had taken to Iceland. This is what real adventure looks like. I began to notice that she would often speak over me in conversations, especially in group settings, or explain things to me as if I were a child. "Let me break this down for you, Margaret. I know this might be confusing, but back in your day, sure, but now we know better." James would sometimes squeeze my hand under the table, his way of apologizing without addressing the situation directly. That silent acknowledgement hurt more than Ashley's condescension. He recognized it but chose not to speak up. In March, I devised an idea. My 68th birthday was approaching in June, and I had recently received a significant sum from successful investments. I wanted to do something special to foster family closeness. I called James and suggested a vacation, perhaps to that resort in Charleston he mentioned last year. 4 days, my birthday gift to all of us. Good food, relaxation, and quality family time. James sounded genuinely enthusiastic. "Mom, that's incredibly generous. Let me talk to Ashley." He called back the next day, and I could hear Ashley coaching him in the background. "So, Mom, Ashley thinks Charleston might be too traditional. She found this boutique resort in Sedona that's supposed to be amazing. More authentic experiences," she says. "Meditation at sunrise, guided desert hikes, farm-to-table dining with a tasting menu. She's really excited about it." The cost was nearly double what I had planned, but I agreed. It was my birthday trip after all, and I could afford it. If this made Ashley happy, perhaps it would improve our relationship. That should have been my first warning sign that I was allowing her to transform my birthday celebration into her vacation preference. In the following weeks, Ashley took complete control of the planning. She sent me lengthy texts detailing the itinerary she was constructing. I booked us for the advanced desert hike, not the tourist one. The guide leads you to places most visitors never see. It'll be challenging, but so worth it. I gently expressed my concerns about whether I was up for an advanced hike given my age. Her response was dismissive. "Margaret, don't sell yourself short. You're more capable than you think. This is about pushing boundaries and truly experiencing the landscape, not just observing it from a bus window." I had hoped to book a spa treatment, perhaps a quiet afternoon, but Ashley vetoed that as well. "Margaret, you can get a spa day anywhere. This is about authentic experiences, really connecting with the landscape and culture." Every suggestion I made was politely dismissed as too ordinary, too touristy, or too basic. She was designing the entire trip around her notion of what constituted real travel, and I was merely expected to smile and pay for it. The resort package alone was $3,000, and then she added excursions, premium dining experiences, and a private wine tasting. Each time she added something, she would text me, "Don't worry, this is all on the card you gave James, right? These experiences are what make travel meaningful." Yes, I had provided James with my credit card information for booking purposes, as it seemed easier than trying to coordinate multiple reservations. He was listed as the primary guest, and everything was being charged to my card. By the time we were ready to depart, I had spent close to $7,000 on a 4-day trip that bore no resemblance to my original vision. Yet, I kept convincing myself it would be worthwhile if we could reconnect as a family. On the morning of our departure, I arrived at their apartment to ride to the airport together. James had offered to drive, leaving his car in long-term parking, again at my expense. But who was counting anymore? Ashley answered the door dressed in designer athleisure wear that likely cost more than my entire suitcase. She looked at my rolling carry-on and laughed. "Oh, Margaret, you're not planning to check that, are you? Real travelers never check bags. It's so inefficient. Here, James has a compression bag you can use to fit everything into a backpack." I replied, "I'm comfortable with my suitcase, sweetie." She sighed as if I had insisted on using a rotary phone. "Suit yourself, but when you're waiting at baggage claim while we're already in the Uber, don't say I didn't warn you." During the car ride, she spent the entire journey explaining travel hacks to me as if I had never flown before. Always use mobile boarding passes, never the kiosk. Download the airline app. Make sure you have TSA pre-check. Oh, wait, you probably don't have that, do you? That's okay. The regular security line isn't too bad if you go early enough. I quietly responded, "I've had pre-check for 4 years." "Oh, good for you, Margaret. See, you're learning," she said, as if I were a kindergartner mastering how to tie my shoes. At the airport, Ashley thrived, striding through the terminal as if she owned it, making remarks about novice travelers who didn't know the efficient routes. When an older couple paused to check the monitor for their gate, she commented, "That's why you download the app, so much faster." At our gate, I attempted to initiate a conversation about what we were most looking forward to, but Ashley interrupted mid-sentence to take a work call, holding up a finger to signal me to wait while she paced around, discussing quarterly projections loudly. I opted to read my book. When she finished 20 minutes later, she neither apologized nor inquired about my previous remarks. Instead, she launched into a monologue about the resort's architectural significance and the chef's Michelin background, explaining details she had already texted me as if I couldn't possibly remember or comprehend without her clarification. On the plane, in first class, an upgrade Ashley had arranged without consulting me about the additional expense, she spent the entire flight critiquing other passengers. See how they're struggling with their bags? That's why you travel light. Look at them ordering regular drinks. The signature cocktails are far superior. When the flight attendant offered me wine, Ashley leaned over. Margaret, you should try the local Arizona Vintner option. It's more interesting than just regular wine. I replied, I prefer Pinot Grigio. Sure, but when you travel, you should branch out and try new things. That's what makes it an experience. I ordered the Pinot Grigio. Ashley sampled the Arizona wine, grimaced, and requested a vodka soda instead. Upon landing in Phoenix, we had an hour's drive to Sedona. James had rented an SUV, a premium tier chosen by Ashley, and she immediately claimed the front seat, relegating me to the back like a child. Throughout the drive, she gave James directions despite the GPS being operational, while simultaneously playing TikToks on her phone without headphones. Every few minutes, she would turn around to point out something out the window. See that formation, Margaret? That's why Sedona is sacred to indigenous peoples. It's about respecting the spiritual significance of the land, not just taking selfies, said the woman who had been taking selfies at every opportunity since we left the apartment. As we neared Sedona and the red rocks came into view, I had to admit it was breathtaking. I remarked on its beauty. Wait until you see it at sunset, Ashley replied. Most tourists only see it in harsh daylight and think they've experienced Sedona, but real travelers understand the magic hours. She repeatedly employed phrases like most tourists and real travelers, creating a constant distinction between those who knew what they were doing and those, like me, who apparently did not. We arrived at the resort around 3 p.m. It was indeed beautiful. Adobe-style architecture, stunning views, and a serene fountain in the courtyard. I would have loved it had I chosen it myself and wasn't already exhausted from being condescended to for 6 hours straight. A valet approached to assist with our bags. Ashley exited the vehicle, stretching and commenting on the drive while James managed the car. I retrieved my suitcase from the back. You can leave that for the valet, Margaret, Ashley insisted. I've got it. Seriously, that's what they're here for. This isn't a Motel 6. Let the staff do their job. I kept my hand on my suitcase handle. We entered the lobby, which featured cool stone and southwestern art, along with that unique hush characteristic of upscale establishments. James headed to the reception desk, and I instinctively followed, curious about the check-in process, room locations, and our schedule for the evening. Ashley halted me with a hand on my arm. Why don't you wait in the lounge? James and I will handle check-in. I replied I'd like to, but her voice had taken on an edge. We've got this. You don't need to hover. Just relax. If you've been following this channel, please hit the subscribe button now, as what happened next marked the limit of my patience. I followed them to the desk regardless. The clerk greeted us warmly. Welcome. Checking in? James began. Reservation under. Do you need to see ID for all guests or just the primary? Ashley interjected. Also, I'm assuming you can accommodate our room layout request. We specified 2 separate units. The clerk began typing. I leaned in slightly. And what time is breakfast? Is it included in the package? Ashley physically stepped between me and the desk. Margaret, seriously, let us handle this. I'm just asking about breakfast. You don't need to ask about every little detail. That's what the welcome packet is for. She turned back to the clerk with an apologetic smile, as if to convey sorry about her. I felt a rush of heat to my face. James appeared uncomfortable but said nothing. The clerk handed over the key cards and a folder of information. Ashley took it all before I could reach for anything. We're in Casita 6 and Casita 8, connected by a patio. Very nice. We began walking toward the rooms, following signs through the beautifully landscaped grounds. I attempted to glance at the folder Ashley held, eager to see the full itinerary, dining reservation times, and what exactly I was financing with my $7,000. Ashley, can I see the... Margaret, I'll show you everything once we're settled. I just want to. She halted, spinning around. There, on that beautiful southwestern pathway, with James standing helplessly between us, Ashley finally articulated what she had clearly been contemplating for months. Stop asking questions. You don't understand real travel, okay? You're so accustomed to your little tour groups and chain hotels, your packaged experiences where everything is explained to you like you're a child. This is different. This is about immersion and authentic experiences. Honestly, Margaret, you need to trust us and let us handle it. Not everything needs to be interrogated and overplanned. That's not how sophisticated travelers do things. Her words lingered in the air between us. James opened his mouth. Ashley, come on. No, James, I'm serious. Your mom has been second-guessing every single choice, asking 1,000 questions, acting as though we don't know what we're doing. It's exhausting. I planned this whole trip to be special, and she's treating it like some kind of carnival cruise where she needs a minute-by-minute schedule. My hand trembled. I looked at my son, awaiting him to say something, anything, to remind his wife that this was meant to be my birthday trip, that I was paying for everything, and that perhaps I had the right to ask basic questions about a vacation costing $7,000. He stared at his feet. Let's just get to the rooms. That was the moment something within me snapped, not in an angry, loud manner, but in a calm and clear realization. I reflected on every condescending remark, every dismissal, and every time I had been made to feel outdated and foolish. I considered every dollar spent on this trip that had been completely commandeered by a woman who assumed she knew everything while I knew nothing. I thought about the prospect of sitting in my casita tonight, pretending everything was fine, embarking on that advanced hike she had planned without considering my ability to manage it, enduring elevated dinners where she would likely critique my menu choices. And then I remembered the one thing Ashley didn't know, the critical detail she had overlooked in all her sophisticated travel planning. James's name might have been on the reservation, but my credit card was the actual method of payment, not merely a deposit against which charges had been made. Nothing had been charged yet. The resort would process everything at checkout, or not. You know what? I said quietly. You're absolutely right, Ashley. I don't understand real travel, not your version anyway. She appeared satisfied, as if she had finally broken through to the obstinate old woman who just didn't get it. So I'm going to step aside. I retrieved my phone. You two enjoy your authentic, immersive experience. I'm going home. Mom, James began. I mean it. I'll get a car back to the airport. You kids have a wonderful time. Ashley looked pleased, as if I were finally being reasonable. Margaret, I think that's probably for the best. You'll be more comfortable with your own kind of vacation. No hard feelings. No hard feelings, I replied, smiling. After everything she had said, after how she had spoken to me, after taking over my birthday trip and making me feel like a burden every step of the way, absolutely no hard feelings. I walked back toward the lobby, my heart racing. Behind me, I could hear James and Ashley conversing in hushed tones, likely relieved that the difficult mother-in-law was removing herself from their sophisticated vacation. I found a quiet corner of the lobby near a window with a view of those stunning red rocks. I settled into a leather chair and opened my banking app. My hands were no longer trembling. They were steady. I located my credit card account. There were the pending charges, resort package, room charges, the upgraded car rental, the premium excursions Ashley had booked, the private wine tasting, every single addition she had made to my original simple birthday idea. The charges had not yet posted. They were merely authorizations. I contemplated the screen for about 30 seconds, allowing myself time to be absolutely certain. Was I truly going to do this? Would I genuinely leave my son and his wife stranded at a resort without a means to pay? Then I recalled her voice. You don't understand real travel. I called the resort's main line. Thank you for calling Canyon Shadows Resort. This is Marina. How may I assist you? Hi, Marina. My name is Margaret Donovan. I have a reservation that just checked in under my son's name, James Donovan. The charges are on my credit card, authorization only. At this point, I need to cancel the entire reservation immediately. Oh, let me look this up. Can I ask why you're canceling? Change of plans. My son and his wife are adults. They can manage their own accommodations. There was typing on the other end. Ma'am, I see they just checked in about 15 minutes ago. Are you certain? There will be a cancellation fee since it's the same day. I'm very sure. What's the fee? $200. That's acceptable. Much less than $7,000. Please proceed. More typing followed, accompanied by a long pause. Okay, ma'am. I've processed the cancellation. The authorization will be removed from your card within an hour, and we will charge only the cancellation fee. I should inform you, however, that your son and daughter-in-law have key cards, and they are likely in their rooms now. They will be required to settle a new form of payment within the next 30 minutes, or they will need to vacate. That sounds perfect. Thank you, Marina. I hung up, sitting in that chair, gazing at the red rocks, feeling lighter than I had in 2 years. I then called a car to take me back to Phoenix. I contacted the airline and changed my flight to a red-eye that night, only a $100 change fee, and I booked it myself using my own money and all my outdated, unsophisticated knowledge of how airports and airlines operate. And then I waited. It took 37 minutes. I moved to the lounge area and ordered myself a very nice glass of Pinot Grigio. See, Ashley, I can enjoy quality wine. I just prefer what I like. I was engrossed in my book when I heard commotion at the reception desk. That's impossible. Check again. Our booking confirmation is right here on my phone. I heard Ashley's voice, sharp and demanding as she dealt with someone she considered beneath her. I did not look up from my book. I see it was here, ma'am, but it shows it was canceled about 40 minutes ago. Canceled by whom? That was James, sounding panicked. I closed my book and looked over. They were both at the desk, the clerk appearing quite uncomfortable. Ashley's expression shifted from entitled confidence to genuine shock. She kept glancing at her phone, as if the confirmation number would somehow restore their reservation. James spotted me in the lounge. Mom, what did you do? I stood, picked up my wine glass, and walked over slowly, allowing them to wait. What did I do? I stopped asking questions, sweetie, just like Ashley advised. I removed myself from the equation. You canceled our hotel. Ashley's voice was rising, drawing the attention of other guests. Are you serious right now? What are we supposed to? This is insane. No, what's insane is spending $7,000 on a vacation where I am treated like a foolish old woman who doesn't understand how the modern world works. I maintained a calm demeanor. You wanted to handle everything yourself, so handle it. Mom, come on. James at least had the decency to look ashamed. Can we talk about this? We could have discussed it when your wife was being condescending and rude. We could have talked about it when she said, I don't understand real travel. We could have addressed it any of the numerous times I was dismissed and treated like a burden. I took a sip of my wine, but we didn't, so now we find ourselves here. Ashley regained her voice. This is ridiculous, James. Your mother is having some kind of breakdown. We're supposed to be here for 4 days. All our excursions are booked. I'm sure you can rebook everything, I replied, smiling at her. You're such a sophisticated traveler. You'll figure it out. Make sure you download the apps. The desk clerk cleared her throat. If you have another card for the reservation, I can reinstate it, but I'll need payment authorization in the next few minutes, or I will have to ask you to collect your belongings from the casitas. Ashley stared at me as if I had grown a second head. You're really doing this on your birthday trip? It ceased to be my birthday trip the moment you took over entirely, when you dismissed every opinion I had, when you made me feel small, stupid, and unwelcome in a vacation I was financing. I set down my glass. I'm going home. My car will be here in 10 minutes. You two enjoy Sedona. I hear the sunset is magical if you're a real traveler. This is vindictive and petty, Ashley hissed. No, dear. Petty would have been waiting until you were at the private wine tasting tomorrow, or until checkout when you had 4 days' worth of charges. This is merely setting a boundary, a very expensive boundary, I'll grant you, but I can afford the $200 cancellation fee. Can you afford $7,000? James was typing frantically on his phone. My card will cover most of it, but not the excursions. Ashley, what's your credit limit? She did not respond, which told me everything. We could do fewer days, James suggested desperately. Mom, please. We messed up. I should have said something. Ashley, he turned to his wife, you owe my mother an apology. Ashley's mouth opened and closed. She appeared genuinely lost. This woman, who always had something to say, a correction, an explanation, or a condescending piece of advice, was momentarily speechless. I'm not interested in an apology right now, I stated. I'm interested in going home and spending my birthday weekend doing exactly what I want, which involves reading my books, ordering takeout from my regular, unsophisticated restaurants, and enjoying my own company. My phone buzzed. My car had arrived. That's my ride. The casita keys are at the desk. I had left them there when I returned to the lobby, a detail they likely hadn't even noticed. Good luck, kids. I hope you find accommodations that meet your elevated standards. I departed the resort with my outdated rolling suitcase, comfortable travel attire, and my ordinary Pinot Grigio buzz, feeling more empowered than I had in my entire life. They found a less expensive hotel about 30 minutes away, as I learned from James's voicemail apology, which sounded genuinely remorseful. They shortened the trip to 2 days since they couldn't afford the excursions without the package deal. I spent my 68th birthday at home in my pajamas, enjoying Chinese takeout. Yes, regular delivery Chinese food, not farm-to-table elevated cuisine, and watching movies I had seen countless times before. It was perfect. 3 days after their return, Ashley sent me a text, not an apology exactly, but more of a, maybe we should discuss what happened. I left it on read for a week before responding with, I'm willing to rebuild our relationship, but it must be based on mutual respect. When you're ready to treat me as an intelligent adult with value and experience, let me know. That was 4 months ago. We've had 2 dinners since then. Ashley has changed. She now asks for my opinion and catches herself when she begins to over-explain. She doesn't always succeed, as decades of being a know-it-all don't vanish overnight, but she is making an effort. As for James, he is gradually learning to speak up. I too have learned something. I discovered that being kind does not equate to being a doormat, that paying for things does not obligate one to accept disrespect, and that sometimes the most powerful action you can take is to stop asking questions and start setting boundaries. I hope some of you out there needed to hear that today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. With love and respect.